Welcome in, everybody. For those of you who may be new, I'm Cecilia. I was UHP Class 5. I did the Certified Personal Trainer course back in, I believe it was June 2022 now. And now I get to guide yoga. Such an honor. So grab whatever you need to be comfortable. Put on whatever is comfortable for you, whatever that's going to allow you to move, but also feel supported. You can grab blankets. If you have blocks, you can grab your blocks, or if you've got like some sturdy books, you can grab those. If you have a mat, be mindful of your space, so what kind of floor you have. So if your floor is a little more slick than mine, if you don't have carpet, just being mindful of that, but grab all the things that are going to make you comfy. And we are going to start on the mat today. I'm going to demo on the mat today, but if you prefer to be seated in your chair, please feel free to grab your chair and sit nice and comfortably in your chair. Giving yourself plenty of time to settle into your space, maybe noticing the corners in your space, or maybe noticing where your door is. And just allowing yourself to slowly settle in. Noticing if anything is coming up in your mind, if you're trying to calculate your next steps or things that you have going on, and seeing if you can just take this moment to be in this space, allowing those things to float away, and just being present here and now. And then if you'd like, I invite you to soften your gaze or even close your eyes. Once again, allowing yourself to settle into your space. Seeing if you need to make any adjustments. Honoring yourself where you are today. We'll spend the next 30 to 40 minutes together, just breathing and moving. But if you feel like you need to maybe sit and rest or just lay down on your mat, this is your practice. Do what feels best for you. And from there, we'll take a nice inhale in through the nose and exhale, sigh it out. Another inhale in through the nose and exhale, sigh it out. Returning back to your natural rhythm. Breathing in and out. And whether you're on the ground with me or you're seated in your chair, sitting up nice and tall through your spine, you can keep your eyes closed here if you'd like. Maybe bring your hands to rest at your thighs if you are seated in your chair, or grabbing onto your shins if you're seated on the ground here. Inhale and exhale. And then allow your chin to come down towards your chest. ever so slightly pulling your shoulders back, almost like your shoulder blades are trying to reach for each other as you continue to allow your chin to come down towards your chest. Take a nice big inhale in, filling the belly and the ribs and the chest. And exhale out. And then allow your shoulders to relax, but keep your chin down towards your chest. And breathe here. Finding length in the back of the neck, the back of the shoulders. Being active with your core. So not allowing yourself to just flop here, but being stable and strong through your core so that you can allow your neck and shoulders to find that length. And then if you'd like, allowing your right ear to come towards your right shoulder. And then allowing your chin to come back down towards your chest and left ear over towards the left shoulder. And just back and forth here. At your own pace. Still breathing. Making your own natural rhythm with the movement and the breath. And if it feels safe for you to do so, maybe imagine drawing some circles with the tip of your nose, allowing your head to circle in one direction. And then pausing and circling in the other direction. And allowing your chin to come down to your chest one more time. And then lifting your head. We're going to open our arms out to the sides here. Palms facing towards me. And then allow your chin to come down towards your chest. And then round your arms forward like you're holding a beach ball. And breathe. You can lift your chin here. Open your arms back out to the sides. Turn your arms so that your palms are facing down. And then press through the palms so that your fingertips start to reach towards the ceiling. Pressing your arms away from each other. And breathe. And then carefully bring your arms down to your sides. If you have the soles of your feet flat on the floor, seated in your chair, or if you're sitting down on the ground like me, take a moment, straighten maybe one leg or both legs out, giving the backs of our knees here a little bit of a break. You can wiggle here if you'd like. And then coming back to that comfortable seated posture. Let's inhale, both arms up. And as you exhale, bend at the elbows. Inhale, both arms up again. Gaze can go up too. And exhale, bending at the elbows. This time, inhale, both arms up. And exhale, your left arm down here. Option to stay here or take a nice little reach to the side. Finding length on the right side of the body. Continuing to breathe here. Then coming back up to the center, both arms up. And then exhale the other arm down here. Finding length on the left side of the body. Still breathing. And inhaling back up, bringing both arms up. Bringing your fingertips towards each other. Hands down to heart center here. And then one more time, sitting nice and tall, keeping your hands together, tucking your chin down towards your chest. Once again, finding length in the back of the neck, the back of the shoulders. And carefully lifting your chin, releasing the arms. We're going to roll out our wrists in one direction. We're going to slowly transition into a tabletop series. You can stay in your chair or you can follow along with me. Start rotating your wrists in the other direction. And then some shoulder rolls here. Maybe roll the other direction. And extend your left arm in front of you, gently pulling back on the fingertips here. You can bend and then straighten the arm. You can go back and forth here, or keep your arms straight out. And point those fingers down. Same thing. Careful pressing here on the other side. And you can bend and straighten or just stay here, the arm extended. And then release that. Maybe draw some circles with that elbow. Slowly getting a little bigger if it feels good for you. If it doesn't, that's okay. And then other way. Other side, extending your arm out, gently pressing on those fingers. Option to take movement here or just to be still. And then pointing those fingers down. And then drawing some circles with that elbow. Maybe getting a little bigger as you go, maybe not. Honoring where you are on this side, allowing it to be a new side. And then circling the other way. And then if you're on the ground with me, we're going to transition to all fours here. We're going to line up first with wrists in line with the shoulders, knees in line with the hips. Pausing here to breathe and acclimate to how this is feeling for you today. If this is not feeling great on your wrist, see if you can bring a little bit more of that weight into your fingertips. Another option, if you've got blocks or some sturdy books, place those blocks down and then place your hands on, still lining those wrists up with the shoulders, still keeping the knees in line with the hips. You may notice that your weight will shift a little more towards the hips instead. Well, this is an option. Another option would be to make fists and be here. If you're seated in your chair, you can just place your hands along your quads. And then if you're on the floor with me, we're going to bring us into a bit of a wider stance. So you're going to bring your knees more towards the edges of your mat here. Toes come in towards each other. Big toes, I should say. They may touch, they may not. And you're going to walk your hands forward just a little. And take a nice inhale in. And exhale out. And an inhale in. And an exhale out. Noticing how this feels in your body. And this next time, focus on filling the belly, the ribs, and the chest. Lifting the chin. And then exhale. Start to shift your hips back towards a child's pose here. If you're seated in your chair, you can take a forward fold. Coming down onto the ground here, forehead resting. If you're using your blocks, you can move your blocks out of the way or just move your arms more towards the inside of your blocks. And breathe here, finding length in the back. It may feel uncomfortable, but it should not be discomfort or pain. And then carefully coming back up, keeping that wider stance here. We're going to put those two things together. So as you inhale, allow belly to soften, chin to lift. You may feel a sort of arch here with the tailbone. And as you exhale, shifting back. And then inhaling. And exhaling. And then feel free to go at your own pace here. Inhaling and exhaling. You may be a little faster or a little slower than I am, and that's okay. Let's do about 2 more here, wherever you are. And then we will meet back in our tabletop. We're going to come back into that more traditional tabletop. So knees in line with the hips here. Wrists in line with the shoulders. And you're going to curl your toes under if you're down on the ground with me. And shift your hips back just a bit, just to stretch out those toes. If you're seated in your chair, you can lift one heel at a time. And breathe. Toes are pointing down towards the earth. And then going back to your tabletop, we're going to work our way to standing. So if you're in your chair, however, you can safely stand. Same option here if you're on the ground, or if you prefer to do a little bit more dynamic, you're going to curl your toes under. Start to lift your knees off the mat. Shift your hips back for down dog. Having as much bend in your knees as you need here. Shift your gaze towards your fingertips. Carefully walk your feet towards your hands here. Having a nice bend in the knees. And then carefully roll yourself up. Giving yourself a chance to acclimate to standing. If you're in your chair and you'd like to stand, feel free to rise with us. Otherwise, you may stay in your chair. We're going to come to a star position, toes pointing forward. So if you're seated in your chair, though, you're going to heel toe your feet out to the corners of your chair, so you may be a little more turned out than we are. But if you're standing with me, feet out wide, toes facing forward. Unless that just is not great for you today, have some turnout. Inhaling your arms up, reaching those fingertips up towards the ceiling. Palms are facing towards me. Noting the strength you feel in this posture. Reminding yourself that you are strong. This star posture, in a way, is some of our biggest representation. Reminding yourself that you are big, that you're worthy, and you're strong. Just continuing to breathe here. And then carefully lowering your arms down to your sides. So I'm going to turn my right toes to face my wall. My left toes are going to stay where they are. For now, I'm keeping my hands at my hips because I want to make sure that I'm keeping my hips level. I don't want to twist one way or the other. And from here, bend that right knee and then straighten. And bend and hold here, bringing your arms up. If you're seated in your chair, you can bring your arms up with us. And then imagine bringing your pinky fingers back towards the wall ever so slightly. Notice how it feels to have your feet rooted into the ground here. If you're standing with me, you may notice that even though your feet are facing in different directions, they're both still rooted. And continuing to breathe here. And then lowering your hands. You can bring them back to your hips if you'd like, straightening that right leg, facing those toes forward, bringing your arms back up into that star posture. You can even look up if you'd like. And breathing here. Allowing yourself to take up space. Allowing yourself to be bold and big. And then carefully bringing your arms down. You can find those hip creases again. And then this time turning the left toes. Making sure that your hips are still even here. One way to help with that is to imagine you're drawing your inner thighs together. Bending the left knee and straighten. And then we're going to bend and hold. Option to stay here or lift those arms up into a T. Palms are facing down towards the earth. And then imagine once again bringing those pinky fingers back towards the wall. You can look over that extended left hand. And breathe here. Noticing the strength it takes to be in this posture. Continuing to breathe. Holding the posture and not your breath. Carefully bringing your arms down. Turning your foot so that it faces forward. One more time. Bringing the arms up. Standing up nice and tall. Like you're trying to lift away. Still breathing here. This time, bringing your hands to heart center, to prayer, or you can place one hand over the other, over your heart. And breathe. If you're standing here with me, you can heel toe your feet in, or you can bend the knees and jump the feet together. Sometimes that's fun. And then shake it out. And then bring your feet wider than hips width, but not too wide. And we're just going to allow ourselves to sort of shift side to side here. Maybe your arms start to go with you. They can be big, or maybe it's a smaller movement. We're just shifting side to side. Maybe you stay at a constant pace. Maybe you get a little faster and faster. Knowing what feels best for you. Being mindful of how you're feeling so that you don't get dizzy. Being spatially aware here. checking in, making sure that you're still inhaling and exhaling. There may not be a particular breathing pattern here, but not holding your breath. And if you got faster and faster, maybe starting to slow it down. Or if your movements got bigger, maybe starting to make the movements a little smaller again. So you're just back to your sort of side to side here. And then eventually coming back into your stillness. Maybe a sort of a sway side to side here. And then pausing, finding that stillness. Inhale your shoulders up. Exhale them back and down, palms face towards me. And breathe. Noticing how it feels to be in this stillness, to be rooted here. Allowing your hands to relax, bringing the feet together, or keeping them wide if you need them wide. I like to at least bring big toes to touch, and generally I have a little bit of a gap here between the heels. It depends too on your lineage, if you're a yogi or yogini and you've got a specific lineage. Inhaling the shoulders up, exhaling them back and down, palms facing towards me. A lot of people know this as Tadasana, mountain pose. Depending on where you are in your practice or your lineage, sometimes coming to this posture is called Samasthiti, which is a call to action, which I think is very fitting for our group. So we're going to work our way back down to the ground if you're standing with me. So I'm going to step and turn towards the top of my mat here. And come to Samasthiti. Inhaling both arms up. We're going to exhale, having as much bend in your knees as you need. Forward fold. Reaching down towards the ground here. You may need your blocks or your book. Inhale to flat back. And exhale down. Plant your hands here. Bend the knees. We're going to step back with the right foot. And then the left. Coming into a strong plank position. Coming slightly forward over those wrists. Lowering yourself down onto the ground here. Uncurling the toes. Inhale. And exhale, press yourself out for Cobra. And breathe here. Lowering self down. Curl your toes under. You're going to inhale. And on your exhale, press yourself back up into that plank. And then shifting your hips back for a down dog. Option to pause here or pedal out your feet. Shift your gaze back towards those fingertips. Coming back to your plank. Lower your knees down. Bring big toes to touch, knees towards the outer edges of the mat. Shift your hips back for a child's pose or wisdom pose. Option to stay here or turn your hands so that they face in towards each other. Pinkies side down, palms facing each other. This may be enough for you, or bring the hands together. Allow yourself time to adjust here. And keeping your hands together, bring your hands behind your head. And this also may be enough for you. But if you need a little more stretch, walk your elbows forward. And wherever you landed, continuing to breathe. Carefully walk your elbows back in, allowing your hands to come back down onto the mat. And you can bring them apart, bringing your hands back flat. And then carefully coming up briefly to tabletop. You can come to a seat for a moment. We're going to transition. We're going to do a short meditation here. So this is where you can grab your blankets. If you've got pillows, grab your pillows. If you want to turn down your lights, turn down your lights. Get all the things that are going to make you cozy. You can sit in your chair, you can sit against the wall, you can lay down. Whatever that looks like for you today in this moment. So taking about the next 4 or 5 breaths to gather all the things. Allowing yourself to start to slow your pace down. Or if you want to end here, that's okay too. And now that you've gathered all your things, go ahead and start to get situated, either against the wall or maybe laying down. Allowing yourself to truly settle into this space in this moment. So maybe you need to take a moment to look around and see how your space feels from whatever posture you pick. Knowing that if you are at any point uncomfortable, you do have the option to move. You don't have to stay and press through that uncomfortable feeling. Give yourself permission to move so that you can find that comfort. Because in this moment, it's all about giving yourself a bit of grace and love and kindness. So we want to do things that align with that grace and love and kindness. And as you continue to settle in, you can soften your gaze here. You can close your eyes. Taking a moment to notice support beneath you, whether that's the wall against your back or the back of your chair, or maybe even the floor if you're laying down. Allowing yourself to notice your breath. Just noticing it without changing. Knowing that all you need to be doing in this moment is resting and being aware of your breath. Noticing how your breath feels in this moment. Maybe it feels hot. Maybe it feels cool. Maybe it feels shallow. Maybe you feel the ground as your ribs expand. Just noticing. And as you continue to breathe here, bringing to mind something that you are grateful for this week. Or even this month as we've transitioned from February into March. And as you continue to breathe, noticing the sensations that that gratefulness brings up for you. Allowing those sensations to wrap around you, like your favorite warm blanket or your favorite sweater or even a hug. And holding on to those sensations, I want you to bring yourself front and center in your mind's eye. You can listen to these phrases that I offer and maybe repeat back to yourself silently or out in your space, the ones that resonate with you. I'm supported. I'm happy. I am in alignment. I live at ease. And if none of those resonate with you today, you can choose something and say those words to yourself. Noticing what phrase stuck out to you or what phrase comes up for you. Noticing the sensations, the feelings around that phrase. And if you're like me and you need an offering, I'll repeat those phrases. I am supported. I'm happy. I'm in alignment. I live at ease. I am supported. I'm happy. I am in alignment. I live at ease. In a traditional love and kindness meditation, we would move on to maybe a loved one or a coworker, but I want you to focus on you today. I am supported. I am happy. I am in alignment. I live at ease. We will take about the next 5 or 6 breaths here, just in silence, allowing everything to settle, to be. And since this is your practice, if you feel like you need more time here, honor yourself and stay in this moment. Otherwise, you're ready to start to close out your practice. Start to bring your awareness back into your space, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe gentle movement, maybe rolling onto one side, taking a few breaths. And when you're ready, finding that seated posture that you'd like to be in to close out your practice. Maybe take some half head rolls here or start to blink your eyes open. And we will close with 3 cleansing breaths. That'll be an inhale in through the nose and an exhale out through the mouth. So take a nice inhale in and exhale out. Another inhale in and an exhale out. And one more inhale in and one more exhale out. I hope each one of you has a wonderful March, a wonderful week. Hopefully this helped to relax you or help refill your cup. It's always a pleasure. I so appreciate each one of you taking this time out to spend with me, but also taking this time for yourself. I hope you have a wonderful March, and I'll see you in April. Bye for now.